Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Abby. Hi, it's lovely to have you here. In today's video, I want to do a little update on my baby rats. If you didn't know, about a week ago now, I got 4 baby rats from a local breeder. So if you're interested in hearing a little update of the babies, just keep watching and we'll get right into it. So if you watched my 2 previous videos about my rats, you will know that originally I was only going to get 2 rats and that was just my plan. Whenever I was doing like research initially about getting rats, people just said never ever house rats alone. They always need to have a friend. If you ever have one rat die, it's really important to make sure that you get them another friend. So I always knew that rats needed to be in pairs. Then the more that I did some research and watched people's videos who have rats and interacted in like rat Facebook groups, people talked about how much happier their rats were since they had a bigger group and since the rats had more friends because they had more relationships, more interaction and things like that. So basically I decided to go back to the breeder. They still had some rats left and I got 2 more. So now I've gone from originally only wanting to get 2 rats to now having 4. I've got to say, literally overnight, I feel like there was a massive change in their confidence and I feel like just their happiness in general. Obviously they were still settling in and they are still settling in, but I really just felt like they were so much happier in the bigger groups. So the second rats that I got were from the same breeder and they had all known each other before, but they had been separated for 2 days. So I obviously had to reintroduce them, where everything went so well. So there's like the first batch and the second batch. And now like Opal from the first batch, she's now best friends with Daisy from the second batch, and Pearl from the first batch is best friends with Blossom from the second batch. I just really feel like Opal and Daisy have similar personalities. Like they're a lot more outgoing, they're a lot more confident, they love to like chase each other around and they're really playful, whereas Pearl and Blossom, they are slightly more timid, but obviously they'll gain in confidence the longer that I have them and the more I interact with them. But those 2 are a bit more laid back, like they would happily sleep in the top hammock literally all day together. So they're really cute. I just love the little personalities starting to come out. So starting with Opal, I would say she is the most sociable out of all of them, and she is the one who, whenever she's awake, whenever I come in the room, she will come up to the cage and she'll look at me and I can talk to her and I feel like she's listening to what I'm saying. If you're not a small pet person, you might be like, how can a rat know what you're saying and listen to you? But trust me, they do. I believe my hamsters know what I'm saying when I'm talking to them. So that's just the kind of person I am. I just feel like you can get really strong bonds with animals and you can really understand each other. You can't fight me on this because I won't change my opinion. Opal she was the first one to stand on my hand. So I forgot to say about Opal, when I first brought her home, she was this beigey colour and I thought that she was going to be like a fawn or like a champagne kind of colour. It turns out she's not. I think she's going to either be Siamese or Himalayan. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to see like what her coat looks like. And Opal actually has ruby eyes. So ruby eyes are red eyes, but they're not like the bright red kind of colour. They're more of a deep red, which depending on the light, they can either look black or red or anywhere in between, just depending on the light. So that is Opal. And yeah, so basically since I've got her every day, her nose is getting darker and her fur on her body is getting a lot brighter and more close to white. And so I think that she is going to be Siamese, but she's very cute. Yeah, I feel like I've got a good bond with her already. So I'll go through all the different rats and then I'll talk about what I'm doing for taming. When they are are tamed or like more confident and settled in and everything, I will do a full video about taming and what has worked for me and like some of my tips and stuff that I've picked up while researching and everything. But moving on to the next rat that I would say is Pearl. So she was the other one that I got right at the beginning. She is a little more scared, I would say, but she is getting braver every day. I can really tell like day to day. So Pearl's a hooded rat. I'm not sure whether the colour is called champagne or fawn or beige. I am not the best at colours. I didn't really discuss the different colours with the breeder. So when I was speaking to the breeder before I went to collect them, he did tell me the colours that he had, and then when I actually went there, he just said to me to choose out of these ones which were still available. We were social distancing. We didn't really talk about the colours at the time. We only really talked about things like their behaviour, things that they need to have in their cage, how to tame them, how to teach them different things like different tricks, and talking about their care in general. We didn't really talk about the colours, so I am not certain about the colours. So I know that Pearl's a hooded rat. So a hooded rat is where they have like a coloured head and then a stripe going from their head all the way down to their tail, and she definitely has that, and then they have the white sides and the white belly. So I'm not sure exactly whether she's going to be a fawn or champagne. I'm not certain about the colour names, but you can see she's like this kind of peachy colour, I would say, on her face. She has pink eyes, so those are the bright red eyes. When it comes to taming, she is getting a lot braver, but she can sometimes snatch treats from me instead of coming over and taking them nicely. So I am trying to teach her not to snatch, because the thing with them snatching is that they could accidentally nip your fingers, and obviously you don't want that. And as well, I'm trying to get them comfortable coming over to me, taking a treat and eating it there, so they're getting used to me being right next to them and things. She does snatch a little bit, but she is getting better with that. So sometimes I put like malt paste on my finger, and I have quite long nails. I don't know if you can tell, but sometimes she'll try and run off with my nail, like trying to grab the malt paste. But like I said, I'm trying to get her to stop doing that. So she is getting a lot braver. She now is one of the first to come over to me, but like I said, she kind of just likes to get the treat and go. But she is getting more used to like sitting there and eating a treat next to me. Pearl, over the first like 2 days that I had her, she was so scared that she wouldn't come out of the wooden hidey house that I have at the bottom. But then as soon as I brought the other two in, then she was a lot braver and she did start exploring. So I'm really glad about that, and I think that she is going to be a really lovely rat whenever she gets a bit more confident and a bit more brave and realises there's nothing actually to be scared of. So moving on to the next rat, there is Daisy. Now Daisy is, I think, a Siamese rat. She might be Himalayan. Again, I'm just waiting for her colours to like fully come through to see whether she is Himalayan, Siamese. But basically she has like a dark nose, she's got a dark patch right near her bum, and then she's got like really white cream coloured fur on her body, and she has ruby eyes as well. Daisy is the biggest rat that I have. So Daisy has been quite confident from day one. She does get a little bit spooked if, say, I'm trying to tame them and then I accidentally bang the bars, say with like a food bowl or something. She does get a bit spooked by things like that, but it doesn't take long before she comes back out after she's run off somewhere. So she is getting a lot braver. And yeah, literally the first night that I had her and Opal were just climbing all over, exploring, and it was honestly so nice to see, because Opal, although she was braver than Pearl, she wasn't always exploring. She was spending a lot of time hiding in the hidey house or in the hammocks, and then she started exploring a lot as soon as Daisy came. They would like egg each other on, like one would come out, the other would follow, and I think it's really nice to see that they have a little friendship going right from like day one. So yeah, Daisy is getting a lot braver too. She's really sweet. And finally is Blossom. So Blossom is the smallest rat, and she's the only one who actually has black eyes, and she is a black hooded rat. So that means that she has a black head and then black going all the way down her back to her tail. She's not as much of a perfect hooded rat like Pearl is. Like, the most perfect hooded rat is more like a stripe all the way down, and Blossoms is more blotchy. It's quite thick. It's not a broken hooded because it's not broken, like it's really thick, but that is Blossom. So Blossom is the smallest rat and she's kind of similar size to Opal. They are like the teeny ones. Blossom kind of stays out of the way of trouble a lot of the time, and so the other three might be like barging each other trying to get to treats and stuff, and Blossom will just kind of wait until they're done or come over to the door of the cage when no one's about and come and get a treat off me. So it's not that she's necessarily scared of me or anything, it's more that she doesn't want to get involved in the bargy-pargy business. She's just a bit more like, okay, I'm gonna stay over here and you can fight it out between yourselves and I'll come over later when it's chilled out. Although saying that, when I had Yogurt, oh my goodness, then she was right in the thick of it, and that is the only time I've actually seen her do that, and that was quite funny. But so that's one of the things I've been doing to try and tame them. Bringing them like wet treats so that they have to like lick it off a spoon, lick it off my hand, or something like that. So I did that with Yogurt. It was so funny. They were all rotating, but only 3 of them could fit at the spoon at a time, and it was quite funny. And while I was doing this, I was trying to like get them used to me stroking them. Some of them were better than others, but some of them really jumped. They weren't a massive fan of being stroked just yet. They just wanted the food. They didn't want any fussing. So that is all of the rats. Whenever they're a bit more confident, I will do a proper video where I bring them into a frame and hold them up and show you each rat individually. Hopefully I will get some clips of me taming them and things like that to include in this video, as well as lots and lots of pictures if I can. Since they are babies, oh my goodness, they are fast. 1 minute they'll be cuddled up and then I'll try and take a picture and accidentally tap the cage and off they go. Oh, another thing that I would just like to say is I've got them a different cage to the cage that you maybe saw in another video. So it's practically the same cage, you probably can't even tell, but the main difference with this cage is the door. So on the other cage there was 2 small doors, and for some reason they were at like random heights. So this cage at the minute has a door which is pretty big, but it's towards the bottom of the cage, and then there's like a little bit at the top where the door isn't. The other cage had 2 small doors like at random heights, and at first I thought that would be fine, but for taming that isn't the best. And as well, I like to be able to spot clean. I do this with my hamsters, so I'll just open the door, scoop out the worst bits, whatever, chuck it out, and so that just minimizes the smell I find in the cages. And with the rats, with that cage, I physically couldn't get my arms in, and even if I could get my hand around somehow, then I couldn't like sweep it up or get a scoop in there. It just wasn't practical for that and like aspect, and that was just too annoying, and I didn't want to have to dismantle the entire cage every single time that I wanted to clean out a bit of wee. This cage has a lot better access, and another thing about this cage that I really like is the fact that you can actually stack 2 on top of each other. Now I do plan on doing this when they are a bit older. Since they are babies at the minute, the thought of them being in a cage which is really tall scares me quite a bit because they are so small. Obviously I would put an example is this I got from IKEA. I got it off Amazon, but it is the IKEA scarf and tie holder. Since they're babies, I'm worried that they might fall through the holes, so I wouldn't want the cage to be too tall right now anyway. And for this same reason, I have actually kept in a shelf in the cage just because they're so small. If they accidentally fell from the top, I really just don't like the idea of it while they're small. So there are loads of ropes and hammocks and things for them to climb on, but I'm just a bit anxious to take that shelf out just yet. When they are a bit bigger, then yeah, of course that shelf is going, but for now I'm just keeping keeping it in. I've ordered some foraging toys for them, but they haven't arrived just yet. So what I've actually been doing is just scatter feeding them, and I have like a hanging basket. I will hide treats in there. I'll put them in the hammocks, basically just all over the cage. I'll scatter their food and treats, anything that I want to give them. So I really hope you enjoyed this video and enjoyed this update on the baby rats. Let me know if you have any taming tips and tricks, whatever maybe worked best for you if you have rats. I've been looking at the confident method versus the like softly method, and I'm a kind of softly kind of person, so that's kind of what I've been doing. But let me know whatever worked best for you if you have rats, and thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not already, and hopefully I will see you in another video soon.